It seems you don't understand things when said nicely. His words remained unfinished because the moisture swimming in Kaya's eyes had paused the flame of his anger for a moment. But his glare was still frozen as sternness on his face. Kaya was standing right there. Her fingers were locked together, as if she were holding herself together, as if she would shatter if she didn't steady herself right now. For the first time, she felt how heavy words could be and how distant the person standing before her was. Sir, I truly just didn't understand. Her voice was soft this time, completely different from the sharp, argumentative girl who stood before him moments ago. Tejas Verma took a deep breath as if battling with himself. On one side was his discipline, and power on the other, the girl standing before him, whose eyes held helplessness, not stubbornness. Why do you have to turn everything into an argument? He said in a slow but cold tone. This time, there wasn't the same anger in his voice as before. Kaya lowered her gaze. It wasn't an argument, sir. I just thought that if you explained it, I might understand better, and perhaps you would like it too. That someone truly wants to understand? Her last words were lost in a whisper. Silence spread through the room for a few moments. The ticking clock on the wall seemed to be keeping track of both their heartbeats. Tejas looked at her closely for the first time. She didn't look like that same cheeky back-answering student. She was just a girl who wanted to prove herself and perhaps wanted a little warmth from him too. His anger now began to feel heavy to him. Stop crying, he said in a slightly softer tone. But the tears caught on Kaya's lashes were no longer obeying him. I didn't want to upset you, she said in a choked voice. It's just that when you explain, it feels like everything could be easy. Upon hearing this, something melted inside Tejas. Perhaps his pride, perhaps his sternness. He took a step back as if reminding himself of the distance. But his voice was no longer coming out as harsh as before. Sit down. But this time, listen carefully and don't interrupt. Kaya looked at him in surprise, as if she couldn't believe she had gotten another chance. She sat down on the chair slowly, and this time her eyes didn't just hold questions. They held trust as well. Tejas opened the book, but even while teaching, he felt that this wasn't just a chapter he was explaining. It was a wall of misunderstanding standing between two stubborn hearts. This story began on a day when Kaya was getting ready for college in a hurry. As usual, she left the house today without eating breakfast. In fact, it had become a daily habit now. After serving breakfast to everyone, she never had time left to eat herself. She was a girl without parents. It is very difficult to spend time alone. She was standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus, feeling a bit troubled. Give something in the name of God. Give something in the name of Sherawali Mata. Hearing the beggar's call in her unique voice, Kaya turned to look at her. The sun was very harsh. Her face was glowing. There were countless wrinkles on her face. As Kaya opened the last zip of her bag to search for something, she found a 10-rupee note. Kaya handed those rupees to the beggar woman. May God bless you. May God make your destiny good. May you study hard to become an officer and find a good husband. Saying this, she began showering her with blessings. In that scorching heat, Kaya felt as if she had found cool shade. Just then, the bus arrived. As she boarded the bus, she smiled a little for no reason. Govind Ram had two sons, Yug and Nirav. They had a sister. Yug was married to Ruhani Devi. They had a son named Shivam and daughters named Kiran and Priyanka. Ojasvi, who was married to Dainana, became a widow in the prime of her youth. They had a daughter, Kaya. After her husband's death, there was talk of Ojasvi marrying Dinana's friend's son, who was already married. He was living a perfectly good life. But Ojasvi's heart could not bear to ruin someone's established home, so she flatly refused. She was ready to spend her whole life as a widow because she loved Dinana dearly. Therefore, she took her 5-year-old daughter and returned to live in her maternal home. Her brothers behaved well in the beginning, but with time, the mother and daughter started to bother them. Ojasvi did all the housework so that her daughter's studies would not stop. Kaya was very good at studies. She had topped in 10th grade. She had received admission into a very good college. But both brothers created a ruckus over it. However, she had to remain silent in front of her brothers. Their lovely daughter with her long hair looked just like a doll. Even after doing all that work, she would still leave for college every day. Her mother had been diagnosed with diabetes just a few months ago, and due to improper treatment, it kept getting worse. All the burden of Ojasvi's work had now fallen on Kaya, which she carried out with complete responsibility. But studying a lot was her dream. In fact, it was also her mother's dream that she should pursue her studies far ahead. Now she wanted to make her mother's dream come true. When she reached college, she entered the premises as soon as she got off the bus. "Hey Kaya, where were you? I have been waiting for you for so long. Try to come a little earlier? A new biology professor has joined the college today." Her friend Tanya told her quickly. Okay, Kaya said, and headed towards the classroom with her. There were a lot of students in the class today. Man, what a handsome guy he is. His personality is amazing. When Tanya spoke more, Kaya gave her a slight nudge and silenced her. Both of them went and sat in their respective seats. Kaya was taking out her notes when the professor entered the classroom. All the students stood up for him in great respect. Kaya was also among them. Upon receiving permission, everyone sat back down. Kaya's fleeting gaze fixed onto the professor. Light gel and black hair, strands falling neatly on his face, a slight smile on his lips, a distinct glow on his face, deep eyes hidden behind glasses. Kaya felt an uncontrollable shiver and immediately lowered her eyes. I am the new professor here, he said, adjusting his glasses, and introduced himself after taking a look at everyone. I don't have enough time to listen to everyone's chatter. So let's get straight to the studies. He had opened his laptop and started the lecture. Slides were running. He was speaking continuously, but Kaya couldn't hear his words. She was just staring at him. He looked very charming to her while he was speaking. When was Kaya even listening to his words? She was just admiring his face. Perhaps this unaware gaze of hers, Tejas Verma had also taken note of it. The class ended. He also gave everyone a project to make in his subject for a week. It had only been 2 days since he arrived, and a project? Kaya lowered her head and started muttering in anger. She was also angry at herself, because the entire lecture had passed and she hadn't understood anything. Neither had she paid attention. Miss Student, pointing towards her, he said, "My name is Tejas Verma." Upon her nodding in agreement, Kaya stood up. "You will submit the project first thing tomorrow, no excuses," he said in a slightly stern tone. Kaya made a face and nodded in agreement. He had left, but he left behind an incomplete story for Kaya. "Why is your face pulled into such a pout?" Tanya asked, looking at her face, and what could she say without having heard or understood anything? She just kept staring. This was what was going on in Kaya's mind. What do I do now? I didn't even listen to the lecture carefully. How will I make the project for tomorrow now? She got up, saying this in distress. She came out with her. "What are you doing? You used to listen to everything so carefully. What didn't you understand?" Tanya was very surprised at her carelessness. "I didn't hear a thing." Never mind. Seeing Kaya lost in confusion, Tanya couldn't figure out what to say, and if she had tried to explain, she surely would have made fun of her. "Where are you going now?" When Tanya called out, Kaya stopped and said, "To the professor. I want to understand this topic again." "What are you saying?" "He just finished explaining it a while ago." "Then why would he explain it again?" "If he doesn't explain, how will I do the project?" "Don't be difficult. If you want to come, then come with me. Otherwise, I will go quietly on my own." Kaya vented all her frustration on Tanya and walked ahead, with a sulky face. Asking about Tejas Verma from the staff room, she headed towards his cabin. Exhaling a deep breath and gathering a lot of courage, she knocked on the door. Hearing the masculine voice from inside, her heart skipped a beat for a moment. As soon as she opened the door, she stepped inside. Professor Tejas was sitting on the sofa drinking tea. He was a bit surprised to see Kaya in his room. He placed the teacup on the table and looked at her. "Yes, speak, sir. The topic you explained a while ago. Please explain it to me once more," Kaya said in a soft but nervous tone. "I have already explained it in class. If there was a problem, you should have asked there. How can I explain it in private now?" Tejas Verma's forehead furrowed. "I am sorry, sir. I didn't understand anything there. That's why I've come to you again." For the first time, Kaya felt very embarrassed. "What do you mean? If you didn't understand it in class, what is the guarantee you will understand it now?" He said angrily. Kaya said, looking at him with steady eyes. "What would happen if you explained it? You would also get a revision, and it would be easier for you to teach as well. You will be able to explain it to the kids easily again. The words just kept spilling out of her mouth on their own. She didn't even realize what she was saying. Tejas Verma turned red with anger. Out! With just that one word, he gestured for her to leave. Please, Kaya said, panicked. Can't you hear me? Get out of here, he roared. Kaya looked at him, her face twisting as if to cry. Tejas Verma rose from his seat in a rage and walked over to her. It seems you don't understand things when I'm being nice. I don't want to touch you because when I touch such beautiful girls, I start feeling things. I can't keep myself under control, so it would be better if you left on your own. Sir, you have no shame at all. Is this how someone talks? Kaya said, annoyed. Tejas Verma flared up at her words, grabbed arms, and pinned her against the wall. Her back hit the wall, and Kaya was deeply shocked. Don't cross your limits, Kaya, or I'll set a boundary you won't even be able to peek over again. He leaned close to her face, breathing hotly as he spoke. Hearing her own name, Kaya's heart grew restless. Let me go. Talk to me from a distance, she said in a trembling voice. He laughed angrily. First of all, you came alone into a young professor's room. And on top of that, you are insanely beautiful. Your body is just like glass. Yet you expect me to stay away from you? That is impossible. You should have thought before coming here. Her hair stood on end. Please, let me go. Kaya begged. But Tejas Verma was in no mood to let her go. Who lets go of a girl already in their reach? I know how to protect myself. Professor, I came here because I thought you were a good person. I didn't know that you, Kaya's words, turned into sobs. Seeing tears in her eyes, Tejas Verma stepped back, and he could not bear to see a sad girl's tears. Now get out of here, he said in a serious tone. Kaya was surprised to see his sudden softness, but she left without saying another word. She took a deep breath once she reached the garden area outside. Oh God, where had I gotten trapped? It is by your grace that I have returned safely. My brain wasn't working today either. Muttering to herself, she headed toward the class. It took her 2 days just to understand the project, whereas now only 2 days were left to submit it, and the professor's day was tomorrow. The night was growing deeper. She was working on the project. There were household chores to finish too. She hadn't found time to study during the day. That's why she chose to do it at night. She was also feeling drowsy, but finishing the project was also necessary. She didn't want to get bad grades under any circumstances. Just then, her mobile rang. Kaya picked up the call without looking. Hello, who is it? Holding the phone between her shoulder and cheek, she kept typing on her laptop. She said hello 2 or 3 times. Getting no response, she hung up and got back to her project with a full focus. It was already 2 a.m. While working, her gaze landed on the water jug nearby, and she saw it was empty. Thinking of refilling it, she left her room and headed toward the kitchen. As she turned back after filling the water jug, she heard a strange sound near the stairs by the pillar. She stopped right there. Her heart skipped a beat for a moment. But thinking it might be a thief, she decided it was best to go and check. Holding the water jug in her hand, she moved forward slowly. She stopped upon reaching there to see who exactly was there. But seeing the 2 people present, Kaya's eyes widened in shock. Pihu was in a compromising position with a guy. The guy was fondling her collarbones with his hands. Sometimes he would press against her lips to kiss her. Stop it, Pihu, he said flirtatiously. If you won't let me love you, where will I go? Where will I go? If it were up to me, I would keep loving you like this every moment. When Mahavir kissed her lips, Pihu turned right red with shyness. Mahavir, talk to your mom and dad, please. Let them finalize our relationship, Pihu said in very persuasive words. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Yes, why not? If I don't marry you, then who will I marry? You will be my bride. Saying this, Mahavir wrapped his arms around her waist, pulled her against his chest, and began kissing her neck incessantly. Pihu's breathing had become heavy. Just then, the water jug slipped from Kaya's hand and fell to the floor. Both of them were startled by the sound of glass breaking. What are you doing here? Pihu shouted in anger. It was as if Kaya had lost the ability to speak. She couldn't say a word. On one hand, Mahavir was professing his love to Pihu. On the other hand, in the darkness of the night, he used to meet Priyanka and talk to her about love as well. So he was fooling both sisters at the same time. Neither sister could see the truth despite wanting to. Kaya shook her head in regret. What are you doing here at this hour? Were you spying on me? Pihu grabbed her arm and shouted, shaking her. Didi, I just came from the kitchen to get water. I heard some noises here, so I came. I thought there might be a thief. But I didn't know you and Mahavir were spending your precious time together here. Kaya said in a trembling voice, Stop your nonsense. As she said this, Pihu's hand rose, leaving the mark of 5 fingers on Kaya's cheek. Just then, hearing the noise, Ruhani Devi came outside. What is happening here? How did this water jug break? Looking at the broken glass, she shouted, Auntie, look at what she has done. Pihu immediately twisted the story. I don't know who she was meeting in the darkness of the night. When Mahavir and I arrived, the boy ran away, seeing us. Mahavir was the brother of Pihu's friend. He lived here in their house as a tenant. Now she is blaming us instead. Kaya stared at them in shock at how Pihu had shifted all the blame onto her. No, Auntie, she is lying. Kaya tried to explain, but before she could, Mahavir spoke. Pihu is right, Auntie. I also saw a boy running away from here. Ruhani Devi looked at Kaya angrily, grabbed her hair and slapped her. At this hour of the night, you are out having secret meetings and telling us you are studying? Auntie, I am telling the truth. I didn't meet anyone. Kaya said while crying, I only came here after seeing them. Auntie, what kind of nonsense she is spouting? Mahavir said. Hearing him, Pihu looked at Mahavir with sharp eyes. Because just a little while ago, he was talking about their relationship. Now he was calling her sister. Shameless girl, are you not ashamed? Accusing the children, Ruhani Devi said in anger and slapped her 2 more times. Kaya stumbled and fell to the floor. Her hand landed on the broken glass and it started to bleed. When Mahavir saw her blood, his lips tightened for a moment. He didn't want her to get hurt, but he remained focused on saving himself. The pain Kaya was enduring was breaking her from within, and Ruhani Devi's anger still hadn't subsided. I feel like throwing you out of this house right now and telling your uncle about all your misdeeds. But she stopped mid-sentence, and Kaya kept sitting on the floor staring at her blood-stained hand, thinking about how much her silence had left her all alone. I am afraid of God. And you, Pihu, get inside from here. Beware if I see you outside again, echoed Ruhani Devi's stern voice. If not for the fear of God, she might have said even more. Thinking this, Pihu ran toward her room out of fear. While Mahavir took one look at Kaya, he lowered his gaze and walked inside without saying a word. And you, Ruhani Devi said, pointing a finger at Kaya, get up quickly and clean up this mess you've made. Then get lost to your room. Don't show me your face again. Otherwise, I will tell your uncle all about your misdeeds. I will have you thrown out of this house in 2 minutes. Saying this, she walked inside in a rage. Kaya kept sitting on the floor, watching the blood flow from her hand. As she slowly pulled out the piece of glass, tears fell from her eyes unknowingly. Along with the pain, she remembered her parents, who would never even let a thorn prick her. And today, the same Kaya lay there covered in blood. Is this the treatment children without parents get, Does no one belong to them? Is that why even relatives abandon them? Sobbing through her hiccups, she was questioning herself. For their own convenience and safety, everyone had held her responsible. And when it was Kaya's turn, she silently kept enduring it all with her head bowed. The next day at college, Professor Tejas glanced at Kaya. She was trying unsuccessfully to cover her face with a scarf, head bowed down. Come and submit your project, Tejas called her while standing by the desk. The entire class's eyes were fixed on Kaya. Her project was complete. But at that moment, she wasn't in a state to speak comfortably. She didn't want anyone to see her in this condition. When she came to college in the morning with a cloth wrapped around her hand, it was Tanya who had taken her to the hospital. She had gotten it bandaged and had scolded her for being careless too. But what could Kaya do? She neither had enough money nor permission from home to go to the hospital. Seeing her condition, Tejas said in a sarcastic tone, I think, Kaya, you should have taken a leave. Making such a scene to avoid a project and gain sympathy is not a new trick. His words struck Kaya's heart like an arrow. Everyone's eyes were fixed on her, with suspicion. The events of the night, the feeling of being all alone in the world, Auntie. Tears welled up and began to flow from her eyes. She lifted her lashes and looked toward Tejas. There was complaint and pain in her eyes. It felt as if someone had clutched Tejas's heart in their fist. He took 2 steps forward, then he stopped himself. Miss Kaya, I don't think you will be able to present the project right now. Come on the day it is due to be submitted. Tejas said while there was still time. No, sir, I will present the project now. Even in Kaya's trembling voice, there was determination. You keep changing the slides on the laptop. I will keep speaking. He asked, will you be able to do this? Tejas asked in surprise. 100%, sir. Kaya smiled slightly, and there was a strange confidence in her smile. Tejas came near her and started turning on the laptop. The project began, and seeing Kaya's confidence, Tejas was truly impressed. The project was so magnificent that the whole class echoed with applause, and a glow of victory appeared on Kaya's face. Very good, you've done very impressive. When Tejas praised her, Kaya just bowed her head. After returning home, Kaya had almost stopped talking to everyone. Those she considered her own were standing against her. Prabhu, Priyanka, Ninu. She had considered them all sisters, but after Pihu's actions, her heart had turned against everyone. Now she just kept to herself and her work. After finishing all her chores, she would go straight to her room. The project was to be submitted the next day. Today, almost all of her work was done. In the evening, while walking towards her room, she heard her name being called. Kaya, someone called out. She turned around to see Shivam standing at a distance watching her. She was stunned because, until today, Shivam hadn't even spoken to her. Bring a cup of coffee for me to the study room, he said in an authoritative tone. Kaya got a little nervous, then she went to the kitchen and made coffee. She reached the study room, where Shivam was writing something in a diary. Shivamji, your coffee? He said softly, put it here on the table and sit down. Shivam said in a serious tone, I need to talk to you about something. Hearing his serious voice, Kaya's heart began to beat even faster. She couldn't understand what was going to happen to her now. Trembling with fear, a voice barely escaped Kaya's throat. Yes, please go ahead. Shivam looked her up and down and asked casually, Which college do you study in? Kaya kept staring at him in surprise. Then in a low voice, she told him the name of the college. Shivam nodded while thinking something and said in a firm tone, All right, from tomorrow, you won't go to college. Hearing his words, Kaya's eyes widened in shock. What are you saying, Shivamji? I am in my last semester. If I don't go to college, how will I be able to take my exams? Shivam picked up his coffee mug and said in a stern voice, Don't you understand what I say once? You won't go, which means you won't go. I will get you admission in some other college, but you will not go to this college anymore. Kaya's voice choked up. Shivam, if I can't submit the project tomorrow, I won't be allowed to sit for the exams. Shivam replied angrily, then, don't sit. If you want the degree, you will get it. You don't need to go. Hearing this, Kaya lowered her head and walked toward her room, while Shivam sank into deep thought. The next day, everyone had submitted their projects except Kaya, who hadn't reached college yet. Tanya called many times, but Kaya didn't attend a single call. On the other hand, Kaya was in a bad state from crying. She was being kept away from the very project for which she had sacrificed her sleep, peace, and comfort. Once Shivam left for the office, Kaya peeked out the window, thanked God, grabbed her project file, and rushed out of the house. She was truly late today. She didn't get a bus, so she somehow took an auto and reached the college. As soon as she stepped into the college, she saw Tanya in front of her. Have you lost your mind, You're coming now? The project was to be submitted in the morning. Kaya said quickly, We can talk about this later. Come with me first. She moved forward. But upon reaching there, they found out that the submission time had ended. Tanya said in frustration, This isn't how it works. This is a college, not someone's relative's house. Kaya's eyes welled up with tears. Shivam has forbidden me from coming to college. He says he will get me admitted to another college. I have come here secretly. Tanya said angrily, first Pihu and Mahavir and now this Shivam. What kind of people are they? Then softening her tone, she said, Come, let's go to Professor Tejas's office. We have a reason today. Maybe he will accept the project. Tanya made an innocent face and said, I won't with you. I have no interest in getting scolded. You go ahead, I will wait in the canteen. Compelled, Kaya walked towards Tejas's office. As she touched the door, it opened and Kaya kept speaking with her eyes closed. Sir, please, this is my project. Please accept it. I was stuck in a difficult situation. When she opened her eyes, the sight before her made the ground slip from under her feet. Inside the room, a man was standing in front of Tejas with a pistol in his hand, speaking angrily. Seeing the pistol, Kaya's hands and feet started trembling. For the first time, Tejas felt angry with himself. He grabbed Kaya's arm with a jerk and took her outside, pinning her against the wall. There was anger in his eyes, but also an unknown fear. I told you last time too, don't come into my room. Why don't you understand? Kaya was breathing heavily. A pistol in your hand. Tejas said through gritted teeth. Watch your tongue, Kaya. Not every man who carries a weapon is a goon. Kaya looked at him with trembling eyelids. Not everyone is, sir. But why are you so close? Tejas paused for a moment. There was something in his eyes that made Kaya's heart race. Because some situations don't demand distance, they demand closeness. Kaya's heart began to beat loudly. Do I look like a gangster to you? You? This time he had spoken in stern words, but his tone lacked the previous rough edge. As if composing herself, her confidence had returned slightly. Now you are scaring me. If you try anything funny with me, I will go straight to the principal and tell her everything. Then see how you get thrown out of college. Gathering all her courage, Kaya threatened Professor Tejas. Hearing this, a crooked smile appeared on the right side of Tejas's lips. Oh, so you will go against me and complain to the principal? He said in a cold yet terrifying manner. Then he gripped her tighter. You'll do that only if I let you leave from here, right? The threat hidden in his smile made Kaya's heart shrink, and she immediately regretted her words. No, I won't tell anyone anything. Please let me go now. This time she quickly changed her tone. I will let you go, but only when my heart agrees. Saying this, Tejas held her hand and pulled her back inside the room, where a man was already present. You brought her inside again. The man sitting opposite glared at Tejas and said, This is supernatural. Mind your own business. Tejas whispered in his ear and shoved Kaya onto a chair. The other man began typing rapidly on the laptop. It's not right to keep this girl here. If she says anything to anyone, we'll be in deep trouble. And the colonel won't spare either you or me. Surjit warned Tejas. I'll handle everything, man. First, clear the whole area for the colonel. Tejas said in an intense tone. Kaya was trying her best to overhear their conversation, but for her the words were still fragmented and terrifying. To her, the two men were no less than mysterious shadows. She didn't want to make any mistake at that moment that would trap her further. She just wanted to get out of there somehow. But escaping Tejas's clutches was not easy. Suddenly there was a loud explosion from outside and both were startled. Looks like that man has done his job. We are late. Hurry up. Tejas snapped the laptop shut. He loaded his gun and went out with Surjit. Leaving Kaya behind in the locked room, as soon as they left, Kaya breathed a sigh of relief. The sound of the explosions was still echoing in her ears, but getting out of there was more important. She stood up quickly, opened the door, and ran out. Smoke, fire, and chaos were spread everywhere. She panicked badly. God, what has happened here? Who did this? With tears in her eyes, she moved forward. Tanya, where are you? She ran toward the canteen, but in her panic she forgot the way. Yes, it must be this way. She dashed in that direction, but the smoke took her breath away. She stopped there and started panting. Nearby, a heavy piece of wood had fallen, under which a boy was trapped. Kaya tried to remove it with all her strength, but it didn't even budge. Someone help, please. He's alive? She kept screaming, but everyone was running to save their own lives. Suddenly, the boy's voice went silent. Kaya looked at him, trembling. His breathing had stopped. She sat down, frozen in place. Her tears wouldn't stop. An innocent soul had breathed his last right in front of her eyes. She couldn't do anything. Her heart was pounding heavily. Who knows what cruel people were taking the lives of the innocent. Just then, Tanya's thought crossed her mind again. I have to find Tanya. Where is she? She got up quickly and started running again. Voices were coming from all directions. The library and canteen areas have been secured. But these two places had the most students, and many lives have been lost. Hearing this, it felt as if the air itself trembled for Kaya. No, nothing can happen to Tanya. She ran frantically and collided hard with someone. It was Tejas in front of her. When he saw her running like that, he blocked her path. You cannot go further. The conditions are not safe. Tejas said loudly, my friend is there. In the canteen. She is waiting for me. Please let me go. Kaya cried out while sobbing. Tejas was busy with his team in the rescue operation. But at this moment, handling Kaya had become his most difficult task. Sojit signaled to take her away from there. He didn't want anyone to notice them right now because they were on a secret mission. Tejas pulled Kaya aside. Are you crazy? Why don't you understand? I am forbidding you. Going there is dangerous. You should go home right now. My friend, my Tanya, she was waiting for me. Kaya kept mumbling this as if Tanya's name was stuck in her mind. She wasn't able to hear anything. Tanya will be found. I will find her. Tejas said, holding both her cheeks and turning her face toward him. Kaya was extremely terrified. Tears and shattering trust were clearly visible in her eyes. That is why Tejas had to swallow his anger. He very gently placed his lips on her forehead. The moment was brief, but it gave a shield to Kaya's heart. Nothing will happen. I am here. I will go and check everything. But promise me that you will quietly sit in the car I put you in and go home. His voice was low, but his words were firm. She will survive, won't she? Kaya asked between hiccups. Yes, nothing will happen to her. You are going home now without any argument. Saying this, Tejas sent her off with his friend and returned to the smoke, fire, and danger where his duty and his secret awaited him. After sending her home, he reached the accident site himself. But the situation was extremely terrifying at that moment. The college social media and news channels were all reporting the same news. 2 bomb blasts had occurred inside the college campus, because of which many innocent lives were lost. There was fear on every face, questions in every eye, and an unspoken dread in every heart. Police and army officers were trying their best to get the situation under control. But one small lapse had given the enemies a chance to fulfill their plan. The loss was so immense that a pall of gloom hung over the entire city. At that moment, sitting in her room, Kaya was crying inconsolably. Memories of Tanya were flashing before her eyes repeatedly. How Tanya used to force her to come along with her. How she wouldn't even step towards the canteen without her consent. Who knows where she might be right now? In what condition she might be? Kaya was calling Tanya again and again. But every time the phone was switched off. She didn't even have Tejas's number to ask him. Meanwhile, the TV was running in the house. Every channel showed the same news, the same screams, the same pictures of dead bodies. Seema Devi was saying loudly, may God give such enemies a death that they deserve, for they have no religion and don't think for a second before taking the lives of innocent little children. Sometimes they enter colleges, sometimes schools. Shivam, sitting nearby, looked up and spoke out in anger. May God not give such people even a minute of mercy. Those who have their own children yet still feed others' children to bombs.